Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for The Walking Dead Season 6. And what this video is going to be doing is basically giving my thoughts on Enid. I'm going to give my predictions on where I think she's gone, is she going to come back, and throw in there the possibility, is she a wolf? Was she one of the members? I'm going to give my predictions on all of those. If you are not caught up with JSS, if you have not seen this episode, I suggest that you not watch the video because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay, so as we know with Enid, we got to see her past in JSS. We got to see flashbacks. Her parents were unfortunately killed by walkers, and as a result of that, she was alone, we presume. She was going around on her own, doing what she needed to do to survive, which is what JSS stands for. Just survive somehow. And according to Caitlin Nacon, I believe that's the actress's name, Caitlin, and then it's Nacon. According to her, that phrase was used by her parents as she was growing up, and they kind of gave her that message. That's what the actress said. And I think that a lot of that is believable. I think that, her idea is to survive somehow. Whatever the situation is, whatever it presents itself, you have to find a way to push through it. And I think that's something that Enid is always thinking about. We saw her eat that turtle. We saw her, hiding at times when it was necessary. And then when she saw Alexandria, I think that at that point, she had realized she had weighed her options. And I feel like that's what Enid really does. She sits down and she thinks about her options and thinks, okay, how do I survive today? I need to get something to eat. I need to find shelter, water. Okay, I got these things. What's next? I think she's always thinking about that. And when it came to Alexandria, when she weighed her options, I think she decided, you know what? This is the best chance for me to survive right now, today. Maybe tomorrow something will be different. And I think that that's what has happened as she's, stayed with this community and seen what it was about. She's just like Rick's group. I think that she looks and she sees that, these individuals have been lucky. That they have been lucky enough not to get attacked by a big, huge herd of walkers or bandits or people like the wolves. And, they don't realize the threats that are out there. And I think that's really the real reason why Enid would go out into the woods. Because in her mind, her being outside the walls at those times was safer than being in. And I think it showed, when you see the wolves attacking in JSS, her being outside, she can hide in those tree trunks. She's very resourceful out there. But being inside the walls was vulnerable, for her. And I can understand where she was coming from with that. Because when the wolves attacked, if you remember, Enid goes inside the house with Carl and, basically tells Carl that she's leaving, that she's not staying, because, she doesn't feel that this place is safe. There are too many blind spots. It's not big enough to protect, and she believes that. And, throughout the episode, she stays with Carl, but then by the end, she's gone, and she wrote down that just survive somehow for Carl, and I think that, with Enid, I think she has left. I'm going to operate under that presumption that she has left. That when all was said and done, she hopped over the wall and went out into the woods somewhere. And, again, I think the reason behind that is really because she feels like out there, it's a lot safer for her. And, I think really what this is about is Enid really is somebody who I think would rather survive on her own than with a group of people. Now, that belief might change as things, start to present themselves, like this big herd of walkers. I'm going to predict that herd is going to be going back towards Alexandria. And if that's the case, Enid may be in a little bit of trouble. But I think that just based on the circumstances of her survival and what she's seen, I think that she sees surviving with a group to be even more dangerous than surviving on her own out in the woods, because she's resourceful. She's able to figure out what she needs to do. And that's important, to her. That, okay, if people can keep her safe, then she'll stay with them for a while. But once the, hits the fan, she's out, because she realizes that in order for her to survive, she's got to go. And that was the point, I think, of her going outside the walls. She was safer out there. Just a walker or two walking around every now and then, okay, cool. I've handled that before. I can hide. I can kill walkers. I mean, I'm sure she had, and we saw her kill that one, although it was a split, the screen cut off. But I'm assuming she killed that walker that was laying on the ground. But I think that really a lot of that is because of the fact that she is someone who can survive, but she's more comfortable doing it on her own. Now, a lot of people have been predicting, is she a wolf? Is she one of the wolves? It's hard to say. I mean, I think it's really 50-50. I'm leaning more towards no. And I'm going to explain both arguments here, to try to maybe, give a dialogue, let you guys decide. Do you think she is? Do you think she isn't? And I'm going to present you with evidence. So we'll make this like a trial, Here's the evidence. You make the decision. So the first thing I want to throw out there is the W. The fact that it seems like all of the wolves have the W on their forehead. It's something that is sacred to them. And from what I saw on the Talking Dead interviews, one of those guys who was playing the wolves said, when you carve this W on your forehead, it means that you will do whatever it takes to survive. When we tell you to do something, you will do it. You are part of this pack. You are part of this herd, and you're going to do what you got to do. And it looked like everybody had the W on their forehead. So the fact that Enid doesn't have a W on her forehead, makes me wonder, well, I mean, if they're really into that, wouldn't they just, carve the W on the forehead? Well, on the other hand, though, you have to think about the wolves in the sense that they seem to use various different tactics to attack people. And wouldn't a smart tactic be to send somebody in there, as a guard, as somebody who can blend in without this weird looking W on their forehead? Maybe she's got a W on her arm, on her back, somewhere else. Maybe they carve it into her, for other reasons. Maybe she's still a wolf. She has the mark somewhere else on her body, so that way she can go, lift it up and go, look, W, kind of like how the Rick's group was putting the A stamps on them. Maybe she has a W on her. And I think it's very possible, that might be the case. But on the other hand, I also think about the way that the attack went down. And, I feel like if Enid really was a wolf, wouldn't she have joined in the attack? I mean, it just doesn't make sense that they would say, okay, look, you don't have to do anything, but then on the other hand, we're going to do all this, and you just stay put and sit pretty. Maybe that's a little outrageous. Why would Enid not engage in this if this is what the wolves are about? Wouldn't she have tried to hurt Carl or Ron or somebody? Maybe, maybe not. The other thing you have to consider is that, maybe Enid really isn't one of them, or that maybe she's different if she is. That maybe her being so young, it doesn't stick with her, this wild sense of, direction, and that she isn't sadistic like the other wolves. That's a possibility, so I'm not going to necessarily close it out. But one thing that really is definitive to me is the photographs. The photographs that the wolves saw, when they were looking through them back at their, food trucks during the last part of Conquer. Well, if they knew where this community was, wouldn't they have attacked it earlier? I would think so. And I think that really does, speak a lot to why I don't think that she is. Because if I'm not mistaken, she was there for about 8 months, right? I think the timeline said that she was there for about that amount of time. So if she was a wolf, wouldn't they have attacked earlier? I mean, I just don't think that it makes sense that if they have this philosophy of you don't deserve to be here, you shouldn't be here, you heard those wolves saying that, well, why would they let them live on and on for 8 more months? That just doesn't make sense. It seems more likely that they would want to attack them before, people like Rick's group arrive. So, and not that they would necessarily know that, but it would make more sense that they would have attacked earlier if they would have really known where they were at. So that's definitive to me as well. But there's something else that I'm not going to necessarily leave out, and that is, where has Enid gone? Where exactly is she going? Two theories on that. The actress during Talking Dead said that if you do see Enid again, you'll be surprised. Now, of course, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes people like to fluff things up a little bit, make them more shocking than they really are. But, maybe the next time we do see Enid, that maybe she will be a different person. And I was thinking about this. What if she decides to go with the wolves? That's a possibility. That maybe she sees herself as a stronger survivor, and that, maybe the wolves are somebody who are more likely to survive than, Alexandria would be based on what happened. So it is very possible that Enid might go and basically stay with them. Just be like, hey, I can offer you something, hey, do you want me here? Maybe she doesn't realize exactly who they are, but she might take that chance and go with the wolves, meet up with them and maybe join their pack. I would not put that past her. What would be more shocking than to see Enid as a member of the enemy? That would be very shocking. And if Enid really is about this survival of the fittest, if she's going to just survive somehow, what better way to do it than to go with people that are clearly, more able to attack than the ones that can barely defend themselves? It's like somebody defecting from one army to the other. If this side's winning the war and this side is not, and you're sitting in the middle and you want to be with the winning side, wouldn't you throw yourself over to the winning side? Yeah, I mean, maybe you would. And I think that with Enid, I would not be surprised if maybe that is the way that she thinks that's the best way to survive somehow, is to go with the wolves. Now, we may see her do that, and she might find out that things are not what she thought they were and leave. But the other thing I think that is very possible is that she might just go back out in the woods and live out there, away from people in general. That she realizes that the wolves are dangerous individuals too, and, Alexandria is not safe because there's not enough people to protect it. So she may believe both sides and just figure that being on her own is something that is, safer. And I think that a lot of that had to do with, being with Carl and being with Ron. I think that I said in one of my prediction videos earlier that maybe if she really is all about survival, then being with one of them would be something that would be detrimental to her survival. That getting close to somebody could potentially spell the end of your survival because you care more about that person and saving that person than you do about your own life. And that, everybody can make judgments on whether that's good or not. But, with Enid, it seems more like for her, just survive somehow is just her mantra. It's her saying, and it applies to herself. That she really doesn't have this group mentality because she's been on her own. Now, she might learn to become a group survivor as time goes on, or she may never, and she might die before it's too late to realize that really being with people is a better option. So, obviously, I think we need to see where Enid is. I think we need to see where she's going. And, my hope is that she does realize, that being with a group and seeing that Rick's group is going to affect Alexandria in a positive way may make her feel more confident that Alexandria can, live on, that they can be tougher, and that they can fight and survive even better than somebody else could. So I hope we see that from her, but I guess we gotta wait and see what happens. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Let me know what you guys think. There's a lot here. There's a lot to, think about. Let me know where you stand. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming, and if you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.